Here we are.
Back
Welcome.
again, moving forward in our lives, right? Are we all moving forward? That's for you to tell, right? You got to use your self honesty. So, what we are going to discuss today can really be summed up in, well,
Actually, Mitch, I don't feel like it, man.
yeah, man.
I actually don't feel
Yeah,
like it.
kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
feeling drained, man.
yeah, man. Yeah. Let me just
I'll
think
just
about
watch some YouTube, man.
it.
Just lay in my bed.
Imagine if we were losers like that, right? Imagine if we were like that, right? That would be hilarious, right? But some of you listening, all of us listening, right? Even Asif and I need to rehear this message. Sometimes you get thrown off a little bit, right? You get thrown off from your crushing it mode, right? So we want to stay in crushing it mode all the time and then automate crushing it mode so that you and those around you and your team are crushing it all the time, right? That's what we got to do. But in order to build that machine, that takes a little process, right? And so let's see.
Well, what are you looking up?
Well, I'm just thinking for the person listening, like, can you relate to this, right? Like, you've seen some success, right? You've had some tastes of success, right? You might even be doing pretty dang good.
I love the taste of success. I'm eating it right now. It tastes like cinnamon swirl cake that my wife made.
Oh, dang, that sounds good. That sounds really good. So yeah, so
Success.
you've had some of that taste of the success cake, but it's not like streamlined, right? It's not like a conveyor belt feeding you success cake. It's more like you have it sometimes, and then you lose the success cake. Like whatever happens, like you get thrown out, and you don't exactly know why per se. You might have an idea why, but it may not be the actual idea why. And like you end up then you lose that momentum, and then you start, and then it starts to compile, right? Because then you take one less meeting that day, and then you wake up a little bit later, and then you miss your self-development practice, and then you miss a call, and it's like it becomes this negative spiral where you're just nose diving, right? And it might be subtle, it might be bleak, it might be blatant, but that cycle right there, okay, we want to help sort of shed some light on like why that happens, dismantle it, so, and then give you some pointers for what you can do to make that be inverted, so it becomes a cycle of success, right, where you get that success cake on autopilot, and then right, it really can build, so then you can help others get that success cake too, and then you can get paid for it. So that is really what we want to start to dismantle, deconstruct, and reconstruct. Okay, so with that being said, Asif, what do you know
let me hit a specific point. And Mitch, I'm going to get you to go through the momentum cycle in just a moment. But before that, let's define what a loser is. Okay, a loser. Remove the emotion from it. You don't have to feel bad for being a loser. In fact, successful people are the biggest losers. And I'll tell you why. Okay. A loser is somebody who has a record or a series of losses. I'm not saying you have to go through a bunch of losses in order to be successful, but a successful person is not afraid of being a loser. So if a loser is not it's not who you are. It's not you as a being as a loser. It just means that right now you have a record of losses, a series of losses. You lost the day several times. You broke your habits, or you kept engaging in bad habits. Okay, this is what would make someone objectively a loser. You don't have to feel bad about it. You just have to change the conditions that are defining you as a loser in that moment, right now. Maybe it's right now that you're listening to this, right? Because I've gone through cycles of loserhood or being a loser, right? And there's a reason for that, because things become habitual, right? So Mitch, walk us through the success cycle, the momentum cycle.
Yeah. For sure I will. I just want to be clear though, like, don't get it twisted, everyone. If you're right now like losing and you're not hitting the success in your business that you want, don't then be like, oh, well, I'll just redefine it. So success is I just wake up and make my bed or something. Like, no, like you got to acknowledge winning is you getting the sale and making the money, or whatever the win actually is. If you're losing at that, okay, you can then figure out what else do I need to do that I need to win at. So maybe making your bed is a win or something like that, right? But don't don't now go into all like, oh, well, I'm creating my reality and I'm just the manifester of my reality. And so I will just change the rules and that will make me a winner. It's like, if you're actually manifesting your reality, you would manifest the sale. So
Right. Like
let's
I'm
be
I'm
real.
so glad you said that, because what I actually do when I feel like a loser is I define even more specifically why I'm a loser. I don't go into, no, I'm a winner. Why am I a winner? No, I say, okay, I'm experiencing a series of losses. I keep losing. What is it? Right. When I used to go through this, I'd be like, fuck, I like am literally waking up at 1 p.m. every day. I'm hitting snooze multiple times, and then getting up for a moment, then taking a nap after I take a shit. Like that's a massive fucking loss. Okay. But as things went on, the reason why I would feel like a loser wasn't because I couldn't get up out of bed. It's because I couldn't close a $10,000 to $30,000 deal. And so I would define why. Okay, I have a set of losses. What is the thing that I'm losing at? Just like when you think I'm not good enough, it's not you as a being that's not good enough. And that also doesn't mean, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Mitch. That doesn't mean that you just say, no, I am good enough. I'm going to muster up my courage to say, I am good enough. I am worth it. I do my affirmations in the morning and night when I'm taking a shit. I'm like, I pick the best shits. I'm the best shitter. I'm amazing. No, fuck all of that. You are not good enough. But you are not good enough in what? What is it? Be specific, because it's not you as a being. It's you're being a loser in something. So
Yeah.
just like Mitchell said, don't
Well,
just try
and
to define your way out of it. Define your way into it and actually find that what the actual problem is.
yeah, and like what you think your problem is likely not actually the problem. Like I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh, my problem's like I'm not funded yet. Like I didn't get my funding. I'm like, no, your problem is that you don't understand cash flow in business
You're
101.
nothing. You got fucking money, bro. You think
Right,
the
right. It's
solution
like
is
no,
get
like you
funded.
don't want the funding right now. Like like that's
It's
it's
like
silly.
the reason why you think you're losing, right? If the loss is like, oh, I didn't get the sale, I need to work on my sales ability. No, it's not. You have a bunch of unconscious bullshit, and you wake up every day in a shit mood, and then it's
Mhm.
resulting in you not being able to exercise your sales ability.
Yeah,
Like the
and
reason
there's like
why.
yeah, and so like if you don't have a group of people around you that you can actually trust, like really trust that they know what they're talking about. If you don't have that, you're groping through the darkness, right? And you will not find your way through, and it will not be pretty. So it's where you got to have people around you who can help you see that, right? Because like I talk to a lot of people, and they know they read all the sales books, man. They learn the sales scripts, they watch the sales training, they go out and they even do all the sales presentations, but then they don't even realize their tonality sucks. And there's like little pieces in them talking that repels people. They don't even see it. And that's like one little example, right? So for all you who are like, ooh, tonality, work on my tonality, that's my problem. It's like, no, that's probably not your problem. It's like 8 other things. So it's like this web of problems that you have. And that's what's all causing, it's like a little tripwire. It's like you're in Mission Impossible and there's all these like lasers, you know, those scenes where they have to like go get the jewel. And then there's like these laser guards everywhere. And then they like walk and then it trips the laser. You have those lasers all around you, and it's a result of your mind and your environment and everything you've accepted over all the years. And then you trip one of those and boom, automatically now in a sabotage pattern,
That's cool.
right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And so, right. So this doesn't put you into spiraling depression, right? Let's talk about some solutions. um, here's what life can look like is you start to notice, right, that hey, as a loser, right, again, not you as a being, you're not a loser as a being, but you have a habit of losing at things that you attempt, right? Even if you have that, one is then you get some feedback from others, and then you figure out, oh, what do I actually got to do differently? Then you start doing that, right? And you got to notice the little wins. And just because you start winning doesn't mean the losing isn't going to start again, right? There's a key point. We tend to
Yes.
think, right? Because we all seen all the movies and all the TV where it's like, oh, you hit your low point and then you come back and you're like the comeback kid, man. You're like Rocky, right? And then doing the training montage and the Rocky song is playing. And then all of a sudden now you're on the up and up and you're going to just succeed. No.
Reality is the sweet sequel to that movie, where then he faces another problem, and then the sequel to the movie, then he faces another problem.
Right, right.
And right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really success is it's going to be a continual struggle. It like that's really the word for it. Like it is a it's a process.
A
Right?
series of challenges. A series of
Yeah,
challenges.
it's not problems. I don't say the word problem. I say challenges and opportunities, right? It's like,
No, it's a bunch of fucking problems.
yeah, it's a bunch of problems that you have to solve, right? Let's stop reacting to words, okay? And
Yeah.
then just use your words and use your life and your time and your attention and your energy and your network and use all of that to support you to then level up and then level up again and again and again and break through, right? So that's really the process. And then the success cycle, right, is you do have to notice the wins. Like you have to actually win, like a verifiable win, okay? Then notice it. And then that's going to help you see and prove to yourself, oh, huh, okay, I can do this. And if you don't know what a win actually is, okay, you gotta like really get clear on that, right? This is something that Asif helped me with a ton, as well as Kian did, is getting really, really clear on what is the win and what is the step-by-step A, B, C, D, E, F, G that leads me to the W, right? Which is the win, okay? And so I got clear on that. And then that helped. And then you build and you build, and then you got to rewrite the formula, right? Because what got you to one level isn't always what's going to get you to the next level. And that's why, again, having the support from Asif and Kian was so critical. Because if I was left to my own devices, including all the training I did, right, all the courses I bought, all that stuff, I would not have broken through. And so the success cycle looks kind of like that. Okay, kind of like
And
that.
the fun part to me was like, as you came from like half working, like half broken Mitch, to like equalizing yourself to like a fucking beast, and then I could come to you for counsel. It was so cool seeing all the little points of what you've learned in like high level business. I've been like, hey, Asif, like, have you ever thought of like optimizing by doing this? And do you have this habit? Because that would keep you in a consistent like state of winning where you don't have any break in your consistency. And I'm like, oh shit, dude. And just by those implementations that keep things consistent, that's the main thing. Like I think one of the coolest parts that we kind of like realized together along our path is like, if we can just win every day. Like the week is just a collection of days, the month is just a collection of days. If we just have a daily system that wins, and we just replicate that the next day. And if we fuck it up, we find that piece about why it got fucked up and what about me was fucked up. Like, what am I missing? Am I missing, like, do I have a group that I'm talking to people in every day? Do I have people that I could reach out to? Am I working on myself every day? Am I making money every day? Do I have opportunities every day? Did I plan my day the night before, right? That was a really cool implementation for me at whatever point I implemented that. And then just repeating that system every single day.
Yeah.
That level of consistency, oh,
Well,
does it just pay the bills, my friends, or is it a little bit more than that?
Right. And it's just like eating, right? You wouldn't take a day off of eating, right? Unless you're fasting, right? Okay. You wouldn't take a day off drinking water. Or you wouldn't take
unless you were water fasting.
Oh, yeah, okay. You wouldn't
take a day off of breathing.
Yeah. Oh, wait, breatharian. Wait, no, even then. Wait.
Yeah, they breathe.
Is that stuff even real? Okay, yeah. So it won't really be any of that. So, right, you wouldn't take a day off brushing your teeth, right? Or like caring for yourself. Well, you might take a day off of that, right? But here's the point: is you got to have that system every day, right? Every day. And if right now you know you're weak in your structure, even some places, right? You got blind spots. Everyone has blind spots, right? Especially you, who's like, oh, I'm already crushing it. I'm doing great, right? But like, you know, you're like still scratching the surface deep down, right? That right there is like, that's where the power of the group comes in, because people can challenge you, right? It doesn't have to be like a confrontation. It's more like a challenge. Like, hey man, like I see you do that. Like, I think you could do this. Like, how about like one of the guys in our group, he's like writing out his 5-year goal and he sent it to me. I was like, bro, like, come on. Like, come on, you can do way more than that. He's like, he wants to own he's already crushing it in his business. He has these portfolios of like websites and stuff that generates traffic, and he gets sales from that. He's like, after 5 years, he's like, he wants his portfolio, he wants it to be worth $1 million. I'm like, bro, come on. I'm like, you can get that to at least 10 million. Like, at least, come on, you have the tools, all that stuff, right? And so and he's like, wow, he's like, thanks. He's like, yeah, why was I thinking so small? It was like a simple shift for him. But if I didn't do that for him, who was gonna? Right? His friends that he still hangs out with weren't gonna do it. His family that he sees maybe more often than he should, they weren't going to do it. So it's like that, you know, that phrase, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around,
Mhm,
is so dang critical, right? But that means
mhm,
every day, like, you got to really look at, right? Because if you have a roommate who's not like really trying to crush it, or if your girlfriend or your wife like nags and they don't understand business, or they aren't really fundamentally supporting you, like, you got to have the right people around you. Plus, sort that out with your partner, right? If you need help with that, reach out to me, NASA. But like, really, like, that piece is key, right? Because, and here's why. Because when you have the daily system, you have that feedback from other people, you're plugged into that mastermind, so you can keep your thinking, you can keep innovating, keep getting new data and information in. Then what happens is, then you do have some wins, and then you can share those wins, and then you have some more wins, then you share those, right? And then you might have a loss, but guess what? Then you get right back on track, and then you have the win again. And steadily, your win column fills up more and more.
mhm.
And then your loss column still gets some, right? Because you're still pushing yourself every day, and you don't go crawl into a hole and want to cry and just eat cookie dough ice cream at night. You're actually like, yo, I'm planning tomorrow. Like, let's go. Like, let's do this next level now. And then as you
Mhm.
do that, and then you bring your other people, like your team, like another guy in our network, he's looking at like plugging in with us even more, right? He's got a team of 30 guys on his team that he wants to plug in with us, Young Billionaires Club, and everything we're doing. It's like, see, that is like the rising tide right there. And
Mhm.
imagine the change that happens then, right? Because again, you're very likely, if you're listening to this, you're already crushing it in a decent amount of aspects of your life, if not a lot. So here's the point. At that point, you gotta have a team, right? But is your
Right.
team thinking like this? Like, are the
Yeah.
people around you that you're mentoring and supporting and leading, are they thinking like this?
Yeah. Because I think sometimes when people hear, like, for example, oh, you're going to have blind spots. You're always going to have blind spots. The question comes in of like, oh shit, like, fuck, I'm going to always have blind spots. I'm never going to know when I'm going to have blind spots. No, you can have a system that takes care of the fact that you have blind spots. I have a system of every single day getting on calls with people who are pointing out my blind spots every day, every single day. I'm not saying it has to be every day for you, right? But you do have to have a system of pointing out blind spots. That's how you solve for that point, right? Because like Mitchell was saying, if the people that you're supported with, even the people who, like, because you've already took care of everybody who's not supportive in your environment,
Mhm.
right? Your lazy friends, your grandma, your dog, who just wants you to play all the time, right? Which is nothing wrong with that, but yes, there's something wrong with that if you're playing all the time, right? Because that will always be the thing that takes our dopamine, right? The dopamine says your brain's wired to be like, I want to just have fun right now. Well, you got to be surrounded with people who are like, no, fun equals go make yourself money, because that will make you happier than accumulating consequences because you didn't go make money. You got to have fun in the moment, but because you didn't close that sale, you didn't generate leads, you didn't get that job, whatever, wherever you're at, because you didn't optimize that process in your business, now you're hurting next month or when the rent is coming up or whatever the case may be. But
Exactly.
even for the people that go try to support you, a lot of the times these people are coming from, like, it's your coworker or your boss who has become very narrow-minded, right? It's like you talk to the same people from the perspective of the same people who are in your industry selling the same thing as you do, or you guys are a group of accountants or whatever it is. It's just a very limited frame that you can be exposed to, versus when you're networking with people who are in different industries of you, who are in, like, who are not part of your company, who are not part of your your little sales team, right? Or big sales team. When you have people that you get to network with, maybe other sales guys, maybe other business owners that are outside of that context, that group, that's when you really start enhancing what is called your neurodiversity, your ability to think about shit that you never would have thought of.
Yeah.
That's why you can have a system to handle that, right?
Heck yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the most amazing thing, right? Because then when you're up leveling and you're on the upward spiral of success, and your team is on that upward spiral of success, and those around you who are giving you feedback are also on the upward spiral, right? Then you really start to see what's actually possible. right? So that's what Young Billionaires Club is all about. If you're not on the Sunday calls, you got to get on those. If you don't know what premium is, you got to at least hear about that, right? We can post a link to it or just DM us, right? Because we have a way where we've devised a insanely awesome group where every day, Monday through Friday, we have this level of conversation, direct feedback, that neurodiversity Asif's talking about, as well as we ask the most critical questions that you can ask yourself, right? Every day you're doing that, you're planning your day, all that stuff. There's so much in there within the premium. We suggest look at that, right? So if you want to be on that upward spiral, you're just struggling, right? Maybe you know there's even a better level of the spiral. You could go faster in the upward spiral, right? Reach out and just send us the word upward spiral. Just send us a DM, right? You can find our description in the description, and hit up me or Asif or leave a comment or whatever and just say upward spiral, right? And we'll know what you're talking about. And that's something that we can advise you on, right? We can share with you more specifically what's worked for us, what's worked for the other people in our community, where we're verifiably day after day after day crushing it. Okay, so we want you to get out of that downward spiral, right? Stop losing. You know, you're still going to have losses here and there, but then you can bounce back
When you
rapidly.
have a record of wins, right? Because every loss can turn into a win.
Mhm.
If you lost somewhere and you learn from it, that becomes a win. And that's all a winner is. You don't gotta get emotional about it. A winner is somebody who just has a record of wins.
Yeah.
So that's how you become a winner. Just start that habit of winning every day, that habit of being on an upward spiral. That's
Yeah.
what makes you.
Yeah, exactly. So that is that, everyone. Yeah, we look forward to seeing who reaches out and is ready to dive deeper with this, because yeah, there's a lot more in store, but now we're ready to start getting into more of the tactical stuff that's really helping people to really walk that cutting edge, and it's
Yeah.
stuff that we're seeing is working now, like in
Yeah.
2022 and beyond, right?
It's really cool because
Yeah.
seeing all those guys in premium, like really taking themselves to the next level. And it's been like a matter of like a week, 2 weeks, quadrupling the number of people in there. It's been really cool because they're really taking on things to like a whole new level. They're like, whoa, this is totally different than just listening to an audio. It's totally different than just being on a Sunday call. Like this is the real deal. So
Right. It's
that's what we're
interactive.
really focused on.
It's like
Exactly.
it's
It's
like
interactive.
perfectly interactive where you don't have to really interact, but it's just enough to get it basically is designed to stimulate your level of thinking and what you have to do that day. And then guess what? You got a bunch of people to help hold you accountable to your goals. So it can really help you make that real habitual change that then pays off dividends, in the short term and really in the long term. So
So
that's
when you
that.
get
So
the opportunity, share this with a couple of people that you know that might be in the need of an upward spiral. Share this audio with a couple of people who know would benefit from this.
Yeah, 100%. And join Young Billionaires Club Facebook group. That's brand new, right? And so just check the link in the description. We got the Discord, we got all that stuff, and you can get plugged in, right? So see you in the next audio experience. Go listen to the old ones too, right? Use that refresher, and we'll see y'all at the top. All right,
See
bye,
you later.
everyone.